You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today's topic, which is be aware of fake meats. What does that mean? We're going to examine a couple of the most popular fake meats out there. You probably have seen them popping up in your local Whole Foods. You might have seen them even in your organic grocers, which makes no sense. I'll share with why in just a moment. And then, of course, all of your favorite local fast food or not so favorite fast food restaurants, they are promoting it everywhere. If you haven't heard about it right now, it is the next big thing. And I say that in air quotes, but does that mean that it's healthy for you? Should you be having them yourselves? Should you be allowing your children or your family to eat these, even if we're trying to eat less meat? Let's examine all of that today. Let's also go through it through a very unbiased lens. That means let's see what's exactly in these burgers, right? Or meat in general. Let's go side by side with grass-fed beef, a healthier version of that. Do we believe that that's better to eat than these fake meats? The answer might be no, but let's explore today. Let's really actually go through what they're hoping to do versus what's actually happening. Now, here's the thing. I believe that there's a disconnect between what they're hoping to do and what's actually happening. What I mean by that is this. Okay, so we're talking about plant-based meats. That means meat that's not actually meat. These are meats supposedly derived from plants. Okay, well, you might say, well, that's a great thing. Of course, this makes a whole lot of sense. I've heard of black bean burgers before. I've heard of chickpea burgers. I've heard of quinoa burgers, but these aren't that, okay? These aren't whole food, basically, burgers that have mashed together and made from vegan-based foods. What these are actually lab-created burgers made to actually, bleed, like actually have juice in them and everything, that would substitute for a meat-based burger at such as like a Burger King or a McDonald's, or I even saw one for Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was called like the Kentucky Fried Miracle. I mean, that's what they were calling it. Like, this is a miracle food. I want to be really careful when we start to believe the hype, okay? Especially in the beginning, because this is the beginning of the fake meat-based industry. It may get better, but let's see where we're at right now. Because when we talk about plant-based meats, we start to think, oh, this must be loaded with vegetables. But not so fast. These are not loaded with vegetables. Again, these are lab-created meats. That may not necessarily be a bad thing. We're going to share in just a few moments of what that is. And also we often think about, well, it's less calories, it's going to be less fat, it's going to be less of this and less of that. And to tell you the truth, that may just not be the case, all right? So what I always recommend is this. Read your labels, okay? Begin to read your labels. It's trust, but verify. And I say trust very loosely when it comes to mega corporations and mass marketing in the media, right? Very loosely trust, or maybe don't trust, right? Be skeptical, but also, right, trust and verify. And you want to make sure that before you eat it, that you read it, right? That you read that label. I love that line right there. All right, let me just give you a side-by-side before we get to the ingredients. So let's, for example, there's two popular companies out there. They're really the leaders in the space right now. One is called Beyond Meat, or the Beyond Meat Burger, and the other is called the Impossible Burger, okay? So let's just take a quick look at the Beyond Burger. They're not too different in terms of calories, etc. But the Beyond Burger contains about 250 calories, 18 grams of fat, 390 milligrams of sodium, and about 20 grams of protein. The Impossible Burger contains 14 grams of fat, 19 grams of protein, about 240 calories, so just about 10 less calories, and has about 20 milligrams less sodium, so not a whole lot less. They're very comparable, right? Especially with the 19 grams of protein versus the 20 for the Beyond Burger. So here's the thing, though. Not radically different from each other. And again, I'm doing this podcast in 2020. And I'm also doing this podcast in March of 2020. Do keep in mind that these formulas, I'm going to call them formulas because it's basically a formulation. It's not actually one ingredient, right? So a burger is typically one ingredient a lot of the time if you're just getting it, and that's grass-fed beef or turkey or whatever it might be that's made out of it. Now, sometimes you might add some egg to it. You might add some salt and pepper. People add onions. People add whatever it might be. But, a burger can just be a burger, and that's one ingredient, right? Like an egg is one ingredient. It's an egg, okay? But these are typically made from about 20 different ingredients. That's right. So your plant-based burger is made from 20 ingredients. We're going to get to those ingredients in just a moment because that's really the crux of what we're getting at. Is this natural? Is this something we should be putting in our body? And if not, is it still better than the alternative? So let's do a quick side-by-side. A 4-ounce Beyond Burger, let me just go back to the stats. I'll go side by side. A 4-ounce Beyond Burger versus a 4-ounce grass-fed beef burger. The Beyond Burger has 250 calories. The grass-fed burger has 224. The total fat in a Beyond Burger is going to be 18. The total fat in a grass-fed burger is 14. The saturated fat in a Beyond Burger is 6. The saturated fat in a grass-fed burger is 6. Total cholesterol in a Beyond Burger, 0. It is made from essentially plants. Cholesterol in a grass-fed burger, 70 milligrams. Total sodium in a Beyond Burger, 390. Total sodium in a grass-fed burger, 77. Total carbs in a Beyond Burger, 3. Total carbs in a grass-fed burger, 0. Fiber in a Beyond Burger, 2 grams. Fiber in a grass-fed burger, 0. Total protein in a 4-ounce Beyond Burger, 20. Total protein in a grass-fed burger, 22. Very interesting, right? Interesting to me because the grass-fed burger in every single category was actually less in a more positive way or tied, except that it had 70 milligrams of cholesterol versus 0 for the Beyond Burger. Cholesterol always not being the bad guy. You just don't want to overdo it, especially if you're susceptible to higher levels of cholesterol, not being able to clear it in your bloodstream, which some people are. It had less fiber because it's not made from plants, so there's no fiber in it. That's okay necessarily because you're not eating a burger for your fiber, right? You're eating your vegetables for the fiber. Had 2 more grams of protein. It had over 300 less milligrams of sodium. So if I'm going head to head, the grass-fed burger is a better food than the Beyond Burger right now. Okay? But it's not vegan-based, right? And if you're trying to go plant-based, well, there's not, obviously, the grass-fed burger is not a good choice for you, okay? So let's look at that. And again, you can make your own opinion around that. I'm not telling you to eat meat at all. I'm not telling you that you need to eat red meat at all. You don't. You don't have to, and that's a personal choice. You don't have to eat meat in general, right? Not just red meat. So now let's go to, grass-fed versus Beyond Burger. I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing that a made-up food in a lab is better than a burger every once in a while if someone wants a burger. Again, if you are vegan and you're looking towards some of these potential Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers, now I want to dedicate the podcast for you. Should you be eating them at all? Are they healthy? And let's take a look. So what are the ingredients? Well, let's go for the Beyond Burger first. They each typically have about 20 ingredients, plus or minus 2. So the Beyond Burger, the ingredients are in order. So when you read an ingredient label, I want to share this fact with you as well. The ingredients that come up first are the largest amount in the product, meaning like as you start to get towards the end, they are the least amount that make up that product. Okay, so Beyond Burger contains water, pea protein isolate, expeller pressed canola oil, refined coconut oil, and then contains 2% of the following, which is cellulose from bamboo, methylcellulose, potato starch, natural flavor, maltodextrin, yeast extract, salt, sunflower oil, vegetable glycerin, dried yeast, gum arabic, citrus extract, ascorbic acid, beet juice, acetic acid, succinic acid, modified food starch, annatto for color, and I believe, yes, and the beet juice is what gives it its burger, its meat-like blood, right? So when you bite into it, it actually oozes a little bit of what looks like blood, but of course, it isn't actually animal-based blood. It's from the beets, and I believe from the annatto as well. So, okay, well, what do we have? Well, the main ingredients, let's forget about the smaller ones. The main ingredients are the water, the pea protein isolate, the expeller pressed canola oil, and refined coconut oil. Okay, so what I would say is this. Now, the pea protein isolate, I cannot find, and I've looked and looked and looked. Are they actually using peas? Or are they using that, or are they just extracting and using just specific amino acids from peas? That's my question. I can't find it out, right? Maybe someone else has that answer. I would love for you to share it over on Facebook, over on Instagram with our community on today's post. But beyond that, we have expeller pressed canola oil. You've heard my thoughts on canola oil before. When you heat canola oil, you are creating oxidation. You are taking one of these fats that is prone to creating free radicals in the body and heating it up. I do not like that ingredient in the Beyond Burger, and I wish it was not there. What else do I wish wasn't there? Well, I'm okay with some of the cellulose and methylcellulose coming from bamboo and from wood and those types of things. I'm not really against that. I mean, it's a small amount, and it creates the fiber-like structure. You have to have something that holds it together. That's just the way that it works. Same with vegetable capsules for most of the nutritional supplements you take. It's coming from bamboo or some type of plant-based fiber. It's what you actually have to make it if you don't want it to be from gelatin from animals. Potato starch, I'm okay with. Now, I don't know what you're using for natural flavor. In some of ours, we use an apple extract, and of course, we use non-GMO. So the next thing I went to right away is Beyond Burger non-GMO? And to my surprise and actually delight, it's non-GMO. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're telling me that they actually, this burger went to be actually considered non-GMO? And the answer is yes. So that's a plus if we're going to be looking between, different companies. So they are kosher, and I believe they are non-GMO. So that's a plus in their category. They're not using GMO canola oil. Great. Again, this is a new variation of their product. I believe they're actually even starting to add in, yes, I believe the newer version on their website is actually starting to add in mung bean, fava bean, and brown rice. So again, the product may always be changing and hopefully getting better. Because this company, as you'll see in a moment, I believe they're a little bit more dedicated, they seem at least, to creating a cleaner product. So their new proteins are now coming from pea, mung bean, fava, and brown rice. So no longer paleo, we'll say, but it wasn't before with some of the ingredients, but now you're getting other additional ingredients. Okay, so interesting. Again, still using canola oil, and they're also now adding sunflower oil as well. I don't love the higher omega-6s. I don't. Really, when you heat these things up, they're going to cause more oxidation and certainly more omega-6s than omega-3s. I know it's difficult to do, but I'd love to be able to get some more omega-3s rather than omega-6s in there. Okay, so now, and this is from Food Business News is where I'm taking this from. So Food Business News. And then, of course, you can go to the beyondmeat.com website for all the up-to-date ingredients. All right, so that was the Beyond Burger. Now let's talk about what's in the Impossible Burger. What's in the Impossible Burger? Well, it is water, soy protein concentrate, coconut oil, sunflower oil, and then contains 2% or less of potato protein, methylcellulose, yeast extract, cultured dextrose, food starch modified, soy like hemoglobin, salt, soy protein isolate, mixed tocopherols, which is vitamin E, zinc, thiamine for B1, it has some vitamin C in there, niacin, which is B3, pyridoxine hydrochloride, which is B6, riboflavin, and B12. They don't say the form of B12. I'm assuming it's cyanocobalamin, but maybe not, right? Again, maybe not. So that is what's in their product. Now let's go with what are the main ingredients? Well, the main ingredients are going to be water, soy protein, coconut oil, and sunflower oil. All right, why is this important? Well, this is taken from cnet.com. Again, are there more updated ingredient labels? Well, let's go to impossibleburger.com. So if I'm typing in on my handy dandy computer here, I go to impossiblefoods.com is the name of their website. All right. So we will look up on their website, and it is very difficult to find anything except their nutritional facts panel, which is for a 4-ounce burger, it containing the 14 grams of fat that we spoke about, actually 2 more grams of saturated fat than the Beyond Burger, as well as the grass-fed burger, 370 milligrams of sodium, 9 carbs for this one. So there's actually a lot more carbs. I guess it's 7 more. It's not a lot more. 3 grams of dietary fiber, which is 1 more than the Beyond Burger, and 19 grams of protein, which I believe it's 1 less than the Beyond, and 3 less than the grass-fed. Now, they did add vitamins to it. Why they did that, maybe they're making it look like it's more fortified, like more of a fortified food, getting some of your B vitamins in there, calcium, etc. They're also claiming that it's good for the planet. I want to talk about this in a moment because I really do refute that. I'm not sure that this is necessarily good for the planet. It's certainly good that we don't have as many cows walking around in these concentrated agricultural-based farms, which is certainly not a good thing. So in that regard, sure, it's better, but I don't think that growing GMO foods, which, by the way, the Impossible Burger does not use non-GMO. So you're getting GMO soy, and you're most likely getting GMO and other products as well, such as the modified food starch. That might even contain MSG. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's inside of their burger, but it very well may. And if you go to a website called centerforfoodsafety.org, remember, I always do my fact checks. I'm always looking at my research. If you look at that, you'll see that there's actually been some backlash now on Impossible Foods, because although Beyond Burger is actually working to be non-GMO, and they are, and they're kosher, and they're trying to add better ingredients, it seems Impossible Foods is not necessarily looking to do the same thing. And we're actually seeing that with soy especially. I mean, this is super important, that soy, and especially genetically, the reason why they're using genetically modified soy is it increases the heme version, the heme, it's Heme, for that it's a form of hemoglobin basically in the plant. And that's what gives it that bleed, right? So it gives it that real feel. Whereas the beet juice and the annatto from the Beyond Burger gives it the separate one. Now, here's the thing. Genetically modified soy is considered a genetically modified organism and not even a specific food. The other thing, too, is that it's highly sprayed with glyphosate, which is a pesticide, and so potentially you're getting that inside of your burger as well. There's many reasons why that this, to me, does not look like the best choice out there, but again, I want everybody to make the best choice for them. Let me just give you a few other notes that might influence you one way or another. As we spoke about before, the Beyond Burger is non-GMO. The Impossible Foods uses GMO-based foods. They're both basically under 300 calories. They're both about 300 grams of protein. They're both about 400 milligrams of sodium. Not that that's a lot, but it certainly adds up, right? If you're looking at your 1,500 milligrams a day or 2,000 milligrams, depending on what type of diet you're on, and that can certainly add up. Oh, well, actually, the Impossible Burger is about 14 grams of protein, I believe I said, where the Beyond Meat was 20. And what I would say, too, is the Beyond Meat does not use any soy in their products. They do use canola oil, which, again, is highly able to be oxidized under heat. So the last thing I want to share with you is this, is that a lot of people are using these and purchasing these to be more plant-based. And I, you know what, I totally get it, right? I totally get it. I want you to be aware of just a couple things. If you are vegan, the likelihood when you get this, that it, especially at like a fast food place, that it hasn't been on the same grill as something with another burger or eggs or chicken or anything like that is highly unlikely. So I wouldn't say that it's quite a vegan certified based food. I don't think either one is really claiming that, specifically because the way that they're served in a restaurant or place like that is going to come into contamination. There's just no doubt about it. But beyond that is this. The real question is that I think many of us are trying to eat more plant-based. And we're trying to do it for the health-based reasons. We're trying to do it for sustainability in the environment. We're trying to do it for the animals. We're trying to do it, hopefully, for all the right reasons. And I think it's commendable, and I actually think that it is the right thing to do. Because for the most part, if we're looking at overall health, no doubt about it, if you are on a predominantly more plant-based diet, you are going to be reaping those benefits of the higher fiber. You're going to be reaping benefits of the plant-based antioxidants, the phytonutrients, and not all the negatives of eating higher meat in the diet, which again, I've gone over many, many times, can be detrimental, especially for those big 3 to 4 causes of mortality. So the issue I come into is this, is that this is still a highly processed food. We're talking 20 ingredients to make a burger, and one that was created in a lab, essentially, rather than, going out to nature to find it. Now, again, if you don't want to eat meat, I get it. I understand that, and it makes sense. But I don't think I could say, and I don't think, as of right now, I don't think I could say that a grass-fed burger, a pastured turkey burger, or something like that is less healthy than one of these. I don't think I can say that. Unless you're eating it every day. No, if you have a burger grass-fed every couple of weeks or so, I don't think that is less healthy or unhealthier than this Beyond Burger or Impossible Burger. I just don't believe that. I don't see any of those facts. That would be probably higher in omega-3s than omega-6s, unlike these. And there is no toxic oils in either one of them, and certainly no GMOs in them if it's, again, grass-fed. If you're talking about conventional red meat, no, I mean, that's toxic. For sure that's toxic. And what would I do if it was between conventional-based meat that's fed estrogen, like the cows are fed estrogen and recombinant bovine growth hormone. They're fed Skittles and soy and all. I mean, no. I mean, if I had to choose between that and one of these, if you just said, listen, there's no other choice. You can't fast. You can't do anything else. If I had to choose, then as of right now, I would choose the Beyond Burger. That's what I would do. And that is because they're looking at pea, fava bean, mung bean, brown rice for their protein. It has the canola oil, which I don't love. But in the future, I don't know. Maybe they'll remove that. So if I had to, that's what I would do if I was not allowed to eat more of a grass-fed or pastured-based version of that. But again, I would say, well, can I have a wild-caught fish? Because then that's going to really supersede all of these for sure. The other thing, too, is that John Mackey of Whole Foods, although they're starting to carry these, he's like, listen, they're extremely popular. They're taking the world by storm. But if you look at the ingredients, they are super highly processed foods. That's from the CEO of Whole Foods and also the CEO of Chipotle, Brian, I believe your first name's Brian. I forget your last name. They're not carrying it as of right now. Again, people may change their tune in the future. And I'm reserving my right as well. I really am. Do I think that Impossible is going to do it? I don't. I think this is a very inexpensive, highly processed, genetically modified, not a food that they're now calling a burger. And again, but that works for a lot of people. So, I mean, you have to do what you have to do. Maybe it works for you. I'm just stating facts, okay? And it might taste absolutely delicious. A lot of people do blind tests between these burgers, and they can't really tell the difference between the meat version and this version. And some people, they can, and they actually like the Impossible Taste Burger, or the Impossible Burger tastes better, or the Beyond Burger tastes better. So, I'm not saying that it's just about the flavor as well. What I'm saying is that I think there's opportunity in this space. It's very interesting to me, and I believe in the future that we might be able to create a cleaner version. I really do. It's still highly processed, so I want to be careful with foods that have more than one ingredient. All right, so I want to be careful with that still. I want to still share that with you. But again, I do think at this point, we need to be aware of fake meats, that I don't think that we should be jumping towards them. I don't think that we should be over-consuming them. Every once in a while, if you wanted to try a Beyond Burger, maybe. Especially if you're at a McDonald's or a Burger King, and the choice is a Beyond Burger versus whatever else that red meat is, for sure. That would probably be a better choice. Or maybe not eating at the McDonald's or Burger King. Again, I know that sometimes we're in certain situations and things come up. Well, maybe that's the time. All right. So that's what I want to share with you today. I am a realist. I do live in the real world. I think it's too early for these fake meats right now. I believe in the future they may get there. I just want to make sure that you're always keeping yourself healthy, you're keeping your family healthy, and you're making the best possible informed decisions for you. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. As always, if today's show was helpful, please do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.